Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is a wildcard video for the round of 16 of the World Cup. Unlimited transfers after the group stages. If you're new, any support is greatly appreciated. Likes and subscribes as we try and hit that 60 subscriber mark. And let's get into it. So we start in defence, and we're going to go with the goalkeeper. Is going to be Martinez. So Argentina, although they got to a shaky start, have kept two clean sheets in their last two games, and they're playing Australia, who, whilst scoring in every game, have not scored more than one goal. So it's not unreasonable to think that they won't score in this one. They've not exactly been that constant threat. Martinez is someone that can absolutely save a penalty as well, and he is the sort of keeper that I could see in the last minute getting a goal. Whilst that's really unlikely, he does seem to have that kind of special sort of factor about him that you can have in the big moments. In defence, we're going to start with Luke Shaw. He is the cheapest option for England, to be honest, in terms of the defence. He got an assist in the first game, and he is someone that can be, marauding down that left side, putting in those crosses. And I think he's someone that is really valuable for England. We've also got double Dutch defence here, and it is worth targeting the Dutch defence. I think if you think that someone's going to keep a clean sheet, then I think, you know, why not go all in on their defence? Whilst they're both expensive, they're both going to start, and the USA haven't been playing, that well. To be honest, they've only scored 2 goals in 3 games, and they've not exactly been that big a threat. And it's not like a potential sort of upset that you might see with the teams that are maybe playing, say, Morocco or Japan. USA have kind of scraped through a group that was quite underwhelming, really, in the end, with Wales and Iran not performing that well overall. And rounding out the defence, we've got Hernandez. Now he is someone else that is really attacking, and he's quite cheap because he wasn't supposed to be starting until all of the injuries that France had. Poland again have only scored 2 goals in this tournament so far. Um, and it's not something that you think when you think of Poland. You obviously think of Robert Lewandowski, but he doesn't always get the support that he needs to be at his best. Into midfield, and we start with Amala here. And I'm not going to pretend that he's not in because he is relatively cheap. And that's something that you need to bear in mind because as you get further and further into the tournament, chances are that the players are going to be more expensive and your budget doesn't change. So, what if you can find these players that are playing for someone like Morocco who are contributing, has contributed attacking returns so far this World Cup, that's going to fit into your team? It's absolutely priceless. We've also got Fernandez here. He's already got goals and assists. He is the most expensive player in the midfield, and but Switzerland, they are conceding goals. They conceded two to Serbia, and to be honest, then someone that I think yeah, they usually get to the round of 16, but then they don't normally get further. I think Portugal are the sort of team that could go on a bit of a run here as well. Got Saka, and he missed the last game because of rotation, but he did play well up to that point. And I think, to be honest, I think England are probably going to against Senegal start with Saka and Foden as the wide players. I would assume after the performances of both. So I wouldn't really necessarily think Saka is in danger of, um, falling out of the rotation. I think he's someone that the Gareth Southgate's relied upon consistently over the last few games, and tournament football shows that consistency is key. And at 8 million, he's a good price. Finally, we've got Fernandez. He is the cheapest way into Argentina's midfield, to be honest, and he is someone that I think is getting forward and has contributed already. 6 million is a great price. Into the attack, and I've gone with Memphis Depay. You could possibly put Antoine Griezmann here as well. For me, Depay against USA is better than Griezmann versus Poland, and the reason is that the the Netherlands haven't had to rotate really their squad as much for their group game, so they've got that consistency going into this game. Depay yet to score, but is playing more and more frequently in games. You've also got Messi here as well, and although he missed a penalty in his final group game, he is on pens, and there are penalties knocking about in this tournament, and I think he is someone. Argentina have Australia. it would be kind of like a dead cert that they're going to win. I know there's going to be upsets at some point, but I think it's not going to be in this game. So onto the bench, and the bench is based on when the fixture is going to be played. Martinez plays just before Pickford, so if there's no clean sheet, I can swap them out there. But I went with Pickford because what we said, with Senegal, not really got that attacking threat now that Mane's gone, and they're getting goals from set pieces, but those set pieces aren't always going to come about in every game. Sure, they've scored 5 goals already, but they also played Qatar in their group, so I think that kind of skews it a little bit. England are going to be a bit more of a solid test. So I think Pickford's a good shout, and just like Martinez is good for a penalty save as well. So I think you can get extra points from that. We've got Zielinski, and despite us talking about Poland's attack not being great, I think Zielinski is showing that he is that focus point of the link between the rest of the team and Lewandowski, and he's threading through the passes and he's creating chances as well. So I think if anyone's going to do it, then it could be him. And the reason we've also got, someone that's playing France in there is because we are predicting those upsets as well. And whilst it might not happen, you have to kind of hedge your bets a little bit because of the limited transfers that you get in the next round. So finally, rounding off the bench, we've got Sandro and Richarlison, both budget players for their team, Brazil. Both likely to start. Sandro and Richarlison both started the first 2 games, got rotated for the final group game against Cameroon. But it is someone that they are people that will come back in as they progress into the last 16. So we've got some top tips here. And it's kind of what we're linking to before as to why we've gone with players like Zielinski, why we've got Amala in there, and it's important to spread your players because you get limited transfers for the next round. And I think if you sort of hedge all your bets, whilst we've got triple Dutch and things like triple Argentina, they're the fixtures that I'm kind of banking on those teams progressing. I think if you are, putting all your eggs in, say, I don't know, the Portugal basket, or you're putting all your eggs in someone like France's basket, or even Brazil, these teams that are rotating for the final group game, you can't just get momentum out. You can't just pull it out the bag. Um, I think in previous tournaments, teams that have rotated in the final group game have really struggled in the first knockout game because you're playing a team like Poland or like Switzerland that have absolutely grinded their way out of the group. They've got loads of momentum, they're all together, and they're just feeling it. And I think to rest and then to lose like teams like France and Brazil did, um, I think to then come back in and just pick up where you left off isn't always easy in single game formats. It's not the league anymore. It's win or go home. So I do think that you need to spread your players based on that. Um, and that's why we also say go with teams who didn't rotate. Get players from teams that have kind of had their consistent squad through all group games, because there will be more shocks, and I think we're going to see that in the round of 16. So let me know what you think about my team. Is there anyone that I'm missing? Because this is the team I'm going to go with, to be honest, pretty much in my round of 16. And thank you very much for listening. Please support the channel. Any support is greatly appreciated, and I will see you in the next one.